Hariam students, and welcome back. I hope everyone is doing well. We are doing the chapter that is magnetic effect of electric current, and in the previous class we understood the meaning of electric motor, its principle and working with the help of diagram, and I hope you understood the topic. Today we are moving to the next topic of this chapter, and the topic we have today is electromagnetic induction, and in short we call it EMI. And this is also one of the very interesting topic we have in this particular chapter, and also it has lots of application in the daily life. So I hope you'll find interest in the class today. So very first, let's understand the meaning of electromagnetic induction. So let's start the class now. And before we start the electromagnetic induction, one more thing you should know so that you'll have more clarity of the concept. And the topic I am going to talk about very first is called magnetic flux. So I will not give much explanation, only should know the meaning in brief so that you can understand the concept of electromagnetic induction also. So magnetic field lines we remember, already we have done. So I hope you remember the magnetic field lines concept. And we know if the magnetic field lines are very close to each other, means if the magnetic field lines are very crowded, so in that particular space we say that the value of magnetic field B is very high, means the magnetic field is strong, and the space where magnetic field lines are quite separated and they are far away, we say the magnetic field is quite weak. So it is understood here B1 and B2 are different, that is B1 is greater than B2. Why? Because at this particular space the magnetic field lines are very crowded, so strength will be maximum as compared to the other side, that is B2. So this we know. Now what is magnetic field lines? That is, you just consider a unit area. So unit area, you know, we have area in the space, and that is in the form of a square with side 1 meter each. So you know the area of this square will be 1 meter square. So just imagine in the space we have 1 meter area square, that is unit area, and the magnetic field lines are passing through it. So through this particular area the magnetic field lines will pass. So this I am showing you the magnetic field lines. Okay, so I hope you understood this much. We have imagined unit area in the space through which magnetic field lines are passing perpendicular to the area also, that you have to understand. So let this be perpendicular to the area. Okay, so how many magnetic field lines will pass through this unit area in a given time perpendicular to this area is called magnetic flux. So briefly we can say the number of magnetic field lines passing through unit area per unit time perpendicular to the area, that is called magnetic flux. So simply you have to remember, overall magnetic flux is nothing but the density of the magnetic field lines. Density means if the magnetic field lines are very crowded or not so crowded. So it is understood more will be the number of magnetic field lines passing through a unit area, more will be the density of magnetic field lines, and more will be the strength of the magnetic field within that space. And if the magnetic field lines are less in number passing through the same area, then what will happen? Less will be the strength of the magnetic field. So overall, for this class, only you have to remember magnetic flux is nothing but the number of magnetic field lines passing through a particular area in a given time perpendicular to the surface, nothing else. Okay, so only this much you have to remember, and with the help of magnetic flux we can identify the magnetic field, whether it is strong or not so strong. Now we are going to the main topic, that is called electromagnetic induction. And in short we call it EMI, electromagnetic induction, EMI. I. So understand the meaning. Now it says that, or the concept we have is, just take an example, we have a coil, just a coil, nothing else, okay? And through this coil, the magnetic field lines are passing. Okay, so we imagine a coil. This coil can be in any shape, can be circular, can be in the form of square, cuboid, that's not a problem here, but we have a coil, and through the same coil there is a passing of, or we can say the magnetic field lines are passing through that particular coil. Now this concept says that if through a particular coil the magnetic field lines are passing through it such that with the time the magnetic flux will change through the coil, then some current will be induced in the coil. I am repeating again, we have a coil in any shape. Through the coil there is a flow of magnetic field lines, just imagine. So the magnetic field lines are passing through this particular coil, and if these magnetic field lines, that is also called magnetic flux, if that magnetic flux will change through this particular coil, then what will happen? The current will be induced in the coil. So in this coil there will be some current. So some current will be automatically start flowing in the coil. So without any power supply we can have the current in the coil with the help of magnetic field. I am repeating again, if through a particular coil there is a change in flux or magnetic flux with the time, then current is induced in the coil. This phenomena is called electromagnetic induction. In short, we know if the magnetic flux will change, we can say the magnetic field will also change. We understood? If the field lines are very close, so we can say flux is high and magnetic field is also high. If the magnetic field lines are far away, the flux is less or low and magnetic field is also low. So overall the concept is, if through a particular coil the magnetic field will change, then what will happen? The current will be induced in the coil. So this conductor or the coil can have the current in the presence of changing magnetic field without any power supply. So I am writing the definition, then we will understand more properly when we have lots of example. So it says that if there is a change in magnetic flux, or I am writing magnetic field. So in 10th class, even if you write magnetic field, it's okay, that's not a problem, and NCERT is also talking about magnetic field and not the magnetic flux. So if you just add magnetic field, that is also okay. So if there is a change in magnetic flux or magnetic field through a coil, then the electric current is induced in the coil. This phenomena is called EMI, that is electromagnetic induction. So meaning of induced is current will be produced, we can say. Okay, so briefly we can say electromagnetic induction is nothing but with the help of magnetic field or a magnet we can have the electric current in the conductor. So without power supply we can produce the current with the help of magnet, and that is the very simple concept and the principle of electric generator. So you might have heard about electric generator, that is the generator can produce the current, and that is totally based on the same concept. So now the electric generator topic has been deleted from the syllabus, but overall the principle of electric generator is electromagnetic induction only. So I hope you understood the meaning. Let's go for more explanation of this particular topic. So we can understand with the help of the example. So let's take an example to understand the concept in the form of activity. So we are having a coil, and this coil is connected with a galvanometer. Okay, so galvanometer, you should know what is it. This is also a device to show current in a circuit. So somehow it is similar to the ammeter, but it's not so same. And ammeter, if you remember, it will have the reading starting from, for example, 0, 1, 2, 3 ampere. So 0 to 3 ampere. So in the ammeter, the needle of the ammeter will move between 0 to 3. Okay, but in the galvanometer G, the 0 is at the center, and the needle can move this direction also and can move this direction. So this direction is taken positive and this direction is taken negative. So overall, the only difference you find in class 10 is in the ammeter the current will be shown in one direction only, and in galvanometer the current can be shown in both the directions. So the reading start, or the ammeter or the galvanometer start from the center point, and the ammeter start from the left side. So that is the difference we have. So overall, we have connected a galvanometer with the coil, and there is no power supply. So only we have a galvanometer which can show the current in the coil if it is there. So here we have not connected any battery or something, so galvanometer will not show you any reading because there is no current in the conductor in the absence of power supply. So the galvanometer will be showing you 0. That's it. Now what is to be done? We'll try to take a bar magnet. Okay, so first you take the coil, take a bar magnet with any pole north and south this way. Okay, such that this coil is fixed. So you have fixed the coil somewhere. You are not moving the coil, let the coil be fixed at a place. And now you are taking a bar magnet with north and the south pole, and you are trying to move the bar magnet towards the coil. So the time you start moving the magnet towards the coil, you will see the galvanometer will show you some deflection. Okay, so in the galvanometer, you will see the time you start moving the magnet towards the coil, the needle will move. And if the needle will move, it simply says that some current must be flowing in the coil. Okay, so if you move the magnet towards the coil, you will be able to see the deflection. If you start moving the magnet away from the coil, then also you will be able to see the deflection in the galvanometer. And if the magnet is stationary, means it's not moving, then what will happen? There will be no current in the coil. So when the magnet is stationary, means it's not moving, and the coil is also fixed. If both are at rest, you will see the galvanometer will show you 0 reading. The time you start moving the magnet to and fro, forward and backward, you will see the galvanometer will show the deflection in both the direction, forward and backward. Means the current is flowing through the coil when the magnet will move towards or away from the coil. So this activity I basically demonstrate in the school. Practically we can see it. So once the school will reopen, we will be able to see it practically how it happens. So with the help of the magnet, we can produce the current in the coil, and this phenomena is nothing but electromagnetic induction. So let's understand it properly again. So the concept is why it is happening. So when we move the magnet or the bar magnet towards the coil, what will happen? Since the magnet is coming close to the coil, so magnetic flux will increase. So in this case, the magnetic flux increases. It is understood nearby the magnet, the magnetic flux will be strong. Why? Because the magnetic field lines are crowded nearby the magnet or the poles. So when you are moving the magnet towards the coil, the magnetic flux will pass through the coil, because if the magnet is nearby the coil, so all the magnetic field lines will also pass through the same coil. And once the magnet is moving towards the coil, what will happen? The magnetic flux will increase, and once the magnetic flux will increase, what will happen? The current will be induced in the coil in a particular direction. In which direction the current will be induced, we will understand after this. Okay, so when you are moving the magnet towards the coil, magnetic flux increases, so current will be induced in the coil. So we understood this one. If you move the magnet away from the coil, in that case what will happen? Magnetic flux will decrease, because we know if the magnet will start moving away from the coil, then with the increase in distance, the magnetic field lines passing through this coil will decrease, so magnetic flux will decrease. So whether you are moving the magnet towards the coil or away from the coil, in both the case there will be a change in the magnetic flux passing through this coil, and according to the concept of EMI, if there is a change in the magnetic flux, current will be induced in the coil. So change means it can increase, it can decrease. Okay, but the difference you will find is if the magnetic flux will increase in a coil, the current will be in one direction. So just take an example. When you move the magnet towards the coil, the current may be in one direction, for example. Okay, so you will be able to see the deflection in the galvanometer in one direction, and once you start moving the magnet away from the coil, you will see the current in the coil will reverse. The direction will reverse, so you will see the deflection shown by the galvanometer will be just opposite. Okay, that is the two conditions we have. If you are moving the magnet to and fro, the current will be induced in the coil in two different direction, and the time you stop the magnet means it is at rest. So what will happen? When the magnet is at rest, the coil is also at rest, then the magnetic field passing through this will not change. Magnetic field lines may pass through it, but if the magnet is at rest and if the coil is also at rest, then the magnetic field lines passing through the coil will not change, it will be a constant. And if the magnetic field or magnetic field lines or the magnetic flux is constant passing through the coil, then current will not be induced. So that is all the concept we have. So overall, we can say the condition we have for the EMI is there should be a change in the magnetic flux passing through the coil. If the magnetic flux become constant, then current will not be induced in the coil. So you will see the time the magnet will come at rest, with respect to the coil, the galvanometer will show you 0 reading. The time move the magnet to and fro, the galvanometer will show the reading in different direction. So I hope you understood. So the condition we need to understand, like overall there should be a change in the flux, and for that change either you fix the coil, move the magnet to and fro, or you fix the magnet and move the coil forward and backward. So overall, even if the magnet is fixed at a place and if you move the coil forward and backward, in that case also the magnetic field passing through or magnetic field lines passing through the coil will change, so automatically the current will be induced. So we can say overall the magnet and the coil should be in motion with respect to each other. There should be a relative motion, means one should change the position with respect to the other. This can be done either by fixing the magnet, moving the coil, or fixing the coil, moving the magnet. So I am writing the condition here. The condition for the EMI is the very first, there must be a change in magnetic flux through the coil. Very first. Second thing is, if you are doing with the help of the magnet and a coil, magnet and coil should be in relative motion with respect to each other. So relative motion, I hope you understood. One will move with respect to the other, and that can be done either by fixing the magnet or by fixing the coil. Okay. So just take an example. If we have the coil is moving with a velocity of 2 meter per second in one direction, and there is a magnet, okay, with north and south, whatever. This also is moving in the same direction with the speed of 2 meter per second. So just take an example, one is moving the coil in one direction and the magnet is also moving in the same direction, and both are moving with the same velocity or the speed. So what will happen? They are in motion, but with respect to each other they are not moving, because both are having the same speed or velocity. So if we have this condition, we know overall the magnetic flux through this coil will not change, because all the time the magnet will be at the same distance from the coil, because they are moving with the same speed. So if they are at rest, in that case also the magnetic flux will be constant, there will be no current in the coil. If they are moving with the same speed, then also same speed in same direction, then also the flux through this coil will not change, so the current will not be there. But if it starts moving in opposite direction, then we know for some time you will be able to see the current in the coil, because when they are moving apart from each other, away from each other, maybe the speed is same but the direction is opposite, in that case also the flux will change and the current can be induced. So these are the different concepts we have to remember for the EMI. So electromagnetic induction is nothing but the production of a current in the conductor or a coil with the help of magnetic field or a magnet. And briefly you should know the cause, not much detail we are having in class 10. We know if any conductor we have, so any conductor, I am showing a bigger picture now. So any conductor we have lots of free charges. So in a conductor lots of free charges we have, you know, the electrons are free, and once the coil will be placed in a magnetic field and the magnetic field will change, you know, the charges we have, any charge Q will get the force, if you remember, BQV or sin theta also. So you know, if the charges are moving and if they are in the magnetic field, they get the force. So when the magnetic flux will change through the coil, they start getting a force in a particular direction. So finally what happened? Because of the force experienced by the free charges which are there in the magnetic field, it is possible that, I am showing a bigger picture, all the electrons will shift in one direction. So in a given conductor the electrons will be shifted in one direction, so we can say this will become a negative part of the conductor, and we know if the electrons will move from this side to other side, this part will become positive. So overall we have a conductor with two different ends, such that the free charges are shifted in a particular position or particular direction, such that one part of the conductor or one end of the conductor becomes positive charge and second become a negative charge. So automatically there is a positive and negative charge which are produced here, that is nothing but induced charge, and because of the positive and negative difference we can say it starts behaving as a battery. So overall we can say one terminal has become positive, one terminal has become negative, and if there is a positive and negative terminal, we know it is nothing but a potential difference has been created, and once the potential difference is created, then the current can be induced in the coil or the current will be there in the conductor. So briefly this is the cause, but more about it we'll discuss in 12th class. So I am repeating again, overall the electromagnetic induction is just because of the force given to the electric charges. So once the electric charges are in motion and they are in the conductor, and once the conductor will be placed in the magnetic field, so the charges will start getting the force and the charges will shift in a particular direction. And you know, if the charges will start moving in a particular direction, what will happen? There will be a current, because we know the flow of charge is nothing but the flow of current. So in the absence of the magnetic field, the charges are moving in a random direction. In the presence of magnetic field, they start moving in one direction, and finally what will happen? This conductor will have a flow of current in a particular direction, and that is given the name induced current, and the phenomena is called electromagnetic induction. So the cause is the charges in a magnetic field experiences the force, and because of the force they start moving in a particular direction, and hence the current starts flowing in the conductor even in the absence of the battery or the power supply, and this concept is called electromagnetic induction. Now the thing is, next thing we have, if the current will be induced in the coil, then in which direction the current will be induced. Okay, so for that we have a particular rule or the law. So I hope you understood the electromagnetic induction. In brief, the current is induced in a conductor or a coil in the presence of variable magnetic field. Now we have the law called Lenz's law. The scientist name, based on scientist name. This will help us to understand the direction of induced current. Means if the current is induced in a particular coil because of the magnet or change in the magnetic field, then in which direction the current will be induced. So we will again understand with the help of the coil and a magnet. So I hope you will be able to understand the concept. So very first, what it says, if we have a coil, okay, so let's take the example of circular coil, because circular coil we have done somewhere, and we have a bar magnet with north and the south pole. Okay, and we are moving this magnet towards the coil. So we have different options. We can have a north pole this side, south pole this side. We can move the magnet towards the coil, away from the coil. So we'll take all the concepts one by one, so that your law will be clear and you will be able to understand in which direction the current will be induced in the particular coil. So if we have a bar magnet with north pole moving towards the coil, then in which direction the current will be induced in the coil, clockwise or anti-clockwise. So the law says that overall the current in this coil will be induced because of this magnet only. So we can say this magnet is the cause of induced current in this case. I am repeating again. If we have a magnet and a coil, the coil will have induced current, and the cause of this induced current will be nothing but the magnet only. So we have to remember a cause will be there all the time, which is responsible for the current induced in the coil. So this law says that the current induced in the coil will be in such direction so that it will oppose the cause. It will oppose in the sense, if the magnet is moving towards the coil, okay, so what will be done by the magnet, the coil will try to send it back. So it will try to oppose the motion of the magnet. I am repeating again. The law says that the current will be induced in the coil such that, or the direction of the induced current will be such that it will oppose the cause of the induced current. So if we take the example of the bar magnet and this coil, the cause of this induced current will be this magnet only. So if this magnet is moving towards the coil, so what will be done by the coil? The coil will try to send it back so that it can oppose the cause. So how it is possible? We know one thing, if the current will be flowing in a particular coil, this coil will also become a magnet. We understood. That is, if a current is flowing through this coil or any conductor, the conductor also become a magnet and it will start behaving as a magnet. This we know. So if the magnet or the bar magnet is moving toward this side, then how it can send it back? If it is behaving as a magnet such that the north pole will be this side and south pole will be opposite side. I am repeating again. If we have the coil facing this way, and if this face will become north and opposite face will become south, so what will happen? We know north and north will repel each other. So if the front face will become north pole, it will try to repel it. So overall, by having a north pole this side, this coil will be able to repel the magnet so that the magnet can not produce the current in the coil. So overall, always the coil will oppose the cause which is responsible for the induced current. So I hope you understood. The law says that the direction of the induced current in a coil will be such that it will always oppose the cause of the induced current. So I am taking this example here. If the bar magnet is moving towards this side, towards the coil, with north pole facing this side, then we know the coil will also behave as a magnet because the current will start flowing. Now it should have the north and the south pole such that it can oppose the motion of the magnet. So how to oppose? If the magnet is moving toward this side, it will try to send it back, and we know north and north only repel. So the current direction will be such that the front face will become north and back face will become south. So we know how to find out. So overall, how is it possible to find out? We understood from the example we have already done. So this phase can be north when the current will be anti-clockwise. If you remember, we have already done this clock rule. Based on the clock rule, we can understand the concept. So current in this coil will be according to this anti-clockwise. So if the magnet with north pole is moving towards the coil, then the front face will become north pole so that it can repel it back, and this is possible only if the current will be anti-clockwise. Remember, if the current is anti-clockwise in a coil, you are facing north. Am I clear? So we can say in this case current will be anti-clockwise. Okay, now just take the other example. So we understood if the magnet is moving towards the coil with the north pole, the current will be anti-clockwise in the coil. Now just take an example, this magnet will move away from the coil. Now if the magnet is moving away from the coil, how will it oppose the motion? It will try to attract. It will always oppose the motion. If the magnet is moving towards the coil, it will try to send it back. It will repel. If the magnet is moving away, it will try to attract because it will always oppose the motion of the magnet according to the law, Lenz's law. So you know the north can be attracted by a south pole. So understood, if the south pole should be this phase, then the current must be clockwise. So if the current will start flowing clockwise in this direction, automatically this face will become south and back face will become north. Now south will be attracting the north, and in that way the motion of the magnet can be opposed. So if the north pole is moving away from the coil, the current will be clockwise. If the north pole is moving towards the coil, the current will be anti-clockwise. So if you are moving the magnet to and fro with north pole coming towards the coil, away from the coil, you will be able to see in the galvanometer the current will be anti-clockwise and clockwise. That is how, with the help of this law, we can understand. So now I am writing the statement and then I will show all the diagrams so that you remember the meaning. Again, this direct topic we don't have in class 10, but we should have the understanding of the direction. Okay, so we can say it states that the direction of induced current in a coil will be such that it will oppose the cause of EMI. So cause, you know, if you have a magnet, the magnet is the cause, EMI, electromagnetic induction. Okay, so this is the concept we have. So based on this we can have the diagram. So I am making all the diagrams so that it will have clarity. So examples I am taking. So first example, we have a coil and a bar magnet is moving with north pole facing this side and coming towards the coil. So we know the coil will try to send it back. So north pole can be sent back by north pole only. So this side should be north, this side should be south. So front face should be north. So according to the rule we know, if the front face should be north, then the current must be anti-clockwise. So in this case current will be anti-clockwise. Okay, so where I is your induced current. Induced current in anti-clockwise. So I have already shown the direction of magnet and the pole also, so that you should not have any confusion. So I will show the magnet is moving towards the coil, case 1. Case 2, let's take the coil, and again the magnet with the north pole this side, south pole here, but now the magnet is moving away from the coil, so it will try to attract. So north can be attracted by the south, so this front face should be south, and according to the clock rule, the face can be south if the current is clockwise. So here the current will be clockwise direction, so we can say I is clockwise. Okay, so I'm not writing the statement here moving outside towards or out away from the coil. So I have diagram is clear already. Now take the other example. Let the magnet is moving towards the coil with south pole. So we have south pole now here and north pole the opposite side, and we have the coil. Magnet is moving towards the coil, so this is south towards the coil. It will try to send it back because it is coming towards the coil. And how can it send it back? If the front face will become south, because south and south will repel. So this side must be south, and for the south we know, according to the clock rule, the current must be clockwise. So here the current will be clockwise. So clockwise again direction. And fourth one, the fourth one we'll take is south, this side only, but now it will move away from the coil. So if it will move away, so it will try to attract the magnet, and south pole is this side, so the coil can attract if the front face will become north pole. So for the north we know the current must be anti-clockwise. So in this case current will be anti-clockwise. So I will be anti-clockwise. So this is all. With the help of a magnet and a coil, we can understand the concept of EMI, and we can apply the Lenz's law here. So briefly we have understood that if through a particular coil the magnetic field will change with the time, then what will happen? In the coil the current will be induced, and that current is called induced current, and this phenomena is called electromagnetic induction. If the current is induced in the coil, then the direction of the current will be such that it will always oppose the cause of the induced current. So we have taken the example of the coil and a magnet. So if magnet is producing the current in the coil, so the coil will always try to oppose the motion of the magnet. And how can it oppose? We understood by making the north and south pole the front and the back face of the coil, and that is totally based on the clock rule. So clock will be, that's why I discussed the clock rule in the classes before the summer break, so that we can have understanding of the electromagnetic induction. So for today we are doing this much only, and this topic is not so complete. You need to imagine this concept, and you'll have more clarity when you will see the practical current. Practically you can see the current in the coil or in the wire without battery, just with the help of the magnet and a wire in the form of a coil we can see the current. So we can produce the current with the help of the magnet, and that is simple principle and the concept of the electric generator, that is overall giving the current to us. So if we are getting the electric current or the power supply we have at home, it is just because of the generator, and in short the generator is given name dynamo also. So dynamo is nothing but the generator, which is based on the concept of EMI. So I hope you understood the topic today, and still if you have any doubt, just write down so that we can discuss your doubts. So for today is done. Just take care, be at home. Thank you, and Hari Om.